In studio, we're going to be talking appellations. Appellations, also known as praise names, are an essential part of the Ghanaian culture, used to honor chiefs, ancestors, and distinguished individuals. They also serve as poetic expressions of identity, history, and achievement passed down through generations. To further understand what these appellations mean and how they can be used correctly, and why they are so important to the Ghanaian society, in studio is one man who is at the helm of this engaging discussion. I beg your pardon. His name is Nana Odei Ampofo. He's no stranger to the screens and to most stages here in Ghana. He is the Okwapihene Chame, and in real life, he doubles as a musician. He is a drummer and an organist with the Presbyterian Church. I beg your pardon. Or therefore, welcome back home. Welcome to the studio.
Thank
How
you
are
for having me. I'm doing good.
So, like, I'm just going to put you on the spot and tell you to do what you know how to do best. Ghana for Mushe GTV, and you're a heritage man. To do your thing.
Well, since we're going to have conversation around it, I want to just use one line so that we can have enough time to, deal with it. Last week I was here, so people can just relate to it on the Facebook.
Yes.
So, Ghana, asase kokwa ewo mebri. Enya kwen afre makotokoma maso etuduru ehuru atra ojaframa ekwen adare. Ghana odoto kesia na so wonyuno me mamu nyina achi mamu atansia ebia.
Yeah. So what do I say? I'm learning. So when you do that with I'm in your presence, what do we say?
Mo nikasa. Exactly.
Exactly. Welcome to our segment on appellations, and we intend to really educate you and also sort of entertain you as we go about. Okay, so first let's begin. Your official title is Okwapihene Chame.
That's it.
What does that translate? That's like a linguist.
A linguist.
The linguist to the chief. So
exactly.
What responsibilities does your title come with?
Wow. What every linguist does, that is what I do, and it includes pouring of libation, public speaking, an intermediator between the chief and then the subjects or the members of the court. And then other related, functions that may be assigned by the chief. Yeah.
Okay. So for the pouring of libation, did you have to go through some sort of training, or you were from birth you knew you were going to be the?
You may have the flair. You may have the flair, but there are specific deities that you need to invoke their presence when you are pouring the libation. In those cases, you need to follow somebody's footsteps and let him take you through the training before you are able. But you may have the flair and the skill to do it. I.e., you may be eloquent, but every place has a specific deities whose presence are invoked when you are pouring the libation. That's it.
Let's get to know you a bit more before we talk about appellations. You're a musician. You started off as a drummer first. Tell us your story in a nutshell.
I'm a traditional drummer. People can relate. Those who are watching, they know what actually took me to the Ahimfe is the drums, the talking drums. I have been doing this for over 20 to 25 years. I do the talking drums. I'm a drummer. And the organ, I do recitals, I play hymns, and I'm currently with the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the Achimota congregation.
Right. Curious again, won't the two religions sort of clash? You pouring libation and you in the church playing an organ. Doesn't it clash? Do you get people asking you, does it clash?
As I speak to you now, I don't engage in libation pouring for now.
All right.
Now, I have some personal reservation regarding that, but I know how to manage it. I mean, that's my tradition.
Right.
If I'm called to do that, there's no way I can share that responsibility.
I hope you are called to do that, and let's see. So if you're called to that, you will do it?
I'll do it.
Wouldn't that go against your Christian values?
Depending on what you are going to say. But if you offer prayer to God and you offer prayer to another being, it's the same words that you say. Just that the methodologies are different.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's it.
We should have another conversation on that. We have other people have a conversation on that. That's a different one. So let's zero in on appellations. First, what are appellations? Explaining to a 10-year-old.
So, I would love to rename it so that they can actually cover the essence of what we are talking about, the activity that we're talking. We know it to be an appellation. Yeah. But if you call it an appellation, it falls short of capturing the essence, the whole essence of the activity. Let me put it this way. If you have a word and you have not contextualized it, it will not drive any meaning for you to appreciate it. It's just as how appellation works. Because they also have synonymous appellations that are associated with demons, like Kweku Bonsam.
Yeah.
You know, Kweku Bonsam and all those. Now, they are appellations. They are just words. They are epithets. Epithet. They are just, attributes and characteristics that are summed up in a word. Those ones cannot be appreciated well. Because if you talk about appellation, you are talking about genealogy, you are talking about the engagement of sobriquet, you are talking about epithet, you are talking about jargonized words put together. So when you say appellation, it falls short of,
what exactly it is. About,
so you can say that that's where I call it poetic appellation, because it flips and then rides on the wings of poetry. Because they are lines, they come in lines based on genealogy and all those things that I called for. Yeah. So in a nutshell, appellations are words, special words that are actually created through jargonized words, through genealogy, to sing praise of a king or a queen, or if there are special, words used for that.
Okay, so how did this come about in Ghana, where when a king or royalty is stepping out, the person has to be giving an appellation? How did that come about?
Okay, quickly, two schools of thought. One, from the perspective of theology, we understand that David, having had an experience with God, wanted others to also experience who God is, would want to bring the picture of God closer to the subject when he was a king. Now, he had to use creatures from the creator, as a symbol to represent who God is. So some part in the Psalms, you hear David referring to God as rock, the rock of our salvation. And you know how stabilized the rock is, how hard it is, and so solid. Those things, yes, exactly, were used by David, to describe who God is, because God is a being, and we have not seen God before. Now, the second school of thought has to do with our forefathers, who also thought that we are dealing with special human beings, especially when those days the legislature, the executive, and then the judiciary were all vested in one person. So he's very, very somebody, exactly, a king or a chief, is somebody who should be fearful. So what happens is that some kind of principle, laid down principle, had to be followed in order to create some special words to communicate to the king by one, activating his background in terms of clanism, and in terms of, so when we talk about the clans, we are talking about the 8 clans of the Khans, depending on who the dynasty, the line of the dynasty, whether Asuna or Yoko, and activating the background, and then the special, monumental or significant achievement that had been done in the past. All these are strung together to have a line. So the appellation actually is a repository of the whole record and then history, historical antecedent of the society.
Okay.
So you can read a line. By the time you end with the fourth line, you have spelled about 50% of history about the people that you are talking about.
Okay. So why is it also important that it has to be, appellations has to be through linguists, such as Ochame, Wulomo, Tindana, etc.? Why must it be through your kind?
Okay, so these people are people who have had experience with public speaking.
Okay.
And they have that trait. They have to be selected. In fact, there are other jurisdictions that when you go, there's a particular house, a pool of, that's where the linguists are selected from.
Okay.
So what they do is that, per their trait, they are eloquent in terms of public anxiety. They are able to, stage fright, those experiences and other related stuff, play part of choosing the people who do that. The Ulomo, for instance, if you talk about, they have a conflicting, function when it comes to the Ulomo and then the Ochame. The Ulomo is actually a spiritual leader.
All right.
And this spiritual leader has traces from the Ekwapims. The Ekwapims, before the state of Ekwapim, which is before the coming into force of the 1733 Accord that was signed in Abotechi, the Ekwapims were led and superintended by what you call priest chiefs. And those, they took care of every day-to-day activities of the society until 1733. So I'm sure the Ghans copied that one, but they still have held it to date. Nice. So spiritually, the Wolomo has a higher pedestal, is on a higher pedestal than the Ochame, but they do the pouring of libation, those functions, they do the same thing.
Right. Oh, so what are the common, before that though, so does it mean that an ordinary person like myself, I cannot be given an appellation, or I have to rise to a certain pedestal first?
You can be given,
or you have to have royal blood only?
First of all, initially, it was meant for royals and kings.
Okay.
But now, modernity has changed a lot of things. Now we have in Koso Hene, you have all those white-related stools. They are not blackened stools. So those people can ask for.
Educate us again when Heritage Month. When you say blackened and white stools, what does that mean?
The blackened stools are supposed to be.
When you see the stool, it looks black.
Black.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, great.
There are some materials that are put together to make it black for a reason. That's another topic for another day.
Maybe just brush over it. Who uses the black stool and who uses the white stool?
Okay, so it's only the royals who are supposed to, and those who have the royal legitimate right to occupy the stool. Those are those people who occupy the black stool.
Okay.
The black stool which represent the state.
Right.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. But you have other white ones. Those ones, you can have any other person than a royal to fix that one.
Okay. So, share with us some of the historical events where appellations played significant roles. Share just a couple with us.
Okay. So before I came into the picture, we've had a lot of people.
And you have been around for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. So before me, there was a state linguist. Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, discovering the relevance of culture in his administration, actually hired the man, or Chami Ekufu, Buafo Ekufu, and then gave him a space. What he does is, normally when the president is about to speak, or speak to the nation, he's given some areas, specific areas that the president will be talking about, and then he would find a way of crafting some words in connection with what the president is going to say. So, for instance, he's going to talk about farming, and he's talking about the achims, then you hear him, Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who say, Oye, Kwabiyokuma, any Esarbedi Aku, Nananoma, more Kwabintua, one no, he's talking about the forest aspect. So sometimes you have your natural resources mentioning in the lines, and then you heard him say that Asarbediako nananum. The Asarbediako is a synonymous appellation which is associated with the totem, the buffalo, a simpi, esare. But they come from Adanse. So the ancestral home of the Achims and the Asantes are the Adanse. So you heard him as Asarbediako nanam, making reference to their ancestral home.
Okay.
So when he finishes, then the president speaks.
He will now speak.
So he had a space. So we had a space for a state linguist. There was a space for a state linguist in the administration of Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay. Do you think with modernization and all the involvement society has gone through, do you think we should still, is it relevant to still have a state linguist?
It's still relevant. Except that because of scant information and research about this particular genre, we are losing it. But we can still have it in our educational curriculum, have it studied even at the highest level. Because of complete communication. If you went into it, you realize that it talks about everything. For instance, let me give you an example. I said that it's a historical, a repository of a historical fact.
Yes.
Now, today we have oil. And if I decide to create a line within the lines of an appellation that I want to create for Ghana now, and talk about the oil, in the next 10 years, that's a depletable resource, Yes. So in the next 10 years, if we don't have it, and somebody who is born before comes to study that line, and he's told that, okay, it tells the person that we once had oil.
Yeah.
So it becomes a reference point for history.
Right.
Exactly. So you cannot take away poetic appellation away. Now it's become an avenue for job creation, where this time, every weekend, people who are hiring people for emceeing, master of ceremony, especially, we don't joke with our funerals.
No.
And people would want people who know how to speak in public, especially those who can put some strings of words, activating the background of their clanism together to make it more attractive. They will hire those people, and a lot of people that I've trained.
Yes, I was getting to that. I know you've trained a lot of people. Are you still in the training business? How do we get to you? Do you have a Facebook link?
That's okay. So yes. I'm on Facebook. I do some kind of distant kind of training, but I'm into business. Call me. I'll teach you this. Call me. I'll teach you this. Right. That's also another one. And if you one-on-one too, if you come, I would have you train. Okay,
please, can we, your handle on Facebook and your handles across social media?
So, Nana Ode Ampofo. Facebook, Nana Ode Ampofo. Or Ode Ampofo Kiteke. Ode Ampofo Kiteke. Nana Ode Ampofo. I do a lot of things, not only appellations. I do historical, how etymological, relations to towns and all those things.
So can we have you as a sort of temporary resource person for a heritage man who really want to know the meanings of town, the names?
Exactly. For instance,
really want to know that.
Whatever TBA, and they all have etymologies.
Right.
I mean, if we go into that we can. But the appellation has become one of them. I thought that I want to find a way of preserving it, and that is why I am trying to, because I've been in the business for, and I know what we can do with the appellation. I'm saying that I have even developed a concept, and I told you I'll give it to you. I've developed a concept, and the concept is a personal signature line for queens, royals, everybody who would want a line that will be his or her bona fide property.
Your patent is yours.
Patent. Okay. You would have the patent right. So nobody else can use that line. So what you do is that you give me your profile, and I would summarize it into that. It will be in your language, which is Akan, and in as English as well. So if you attended the program and then the program is English related, they can use the English version, and then if it's Akan, you want them to use that one.
Okay. Yeah. So, for instance, just before we wrap up, because we have you here, what appellation, if there was a warrior in here, would you have used for a warrior?
but you don't have a dream when you are not asleep.
Right.
But this is an assumption. You this is an assumption. Let's assume somebody is a warrior from where?
Okay. So okay, I
need to get who the person is. I need to get his clan.
Okay.
I need to get. I mean, his physical looks sometimes is also part of it. So there's nobody here, and so perhaps if you wanted to do something about any of the towns, any of the ethnic groups,
okay, you just pick one, just in any of the towns, whatever. You just give us an appellation in wrapping up.
Okay, so because I'm an Akrapim,
okay,
I won't go Akrapim this time. I'd make reference to Asante.
Okay, that's fine.
Enti Asante Kotoko, kuma apem beba. Obiri yebo a wofase osei tutu brempon hunyafo otenkra wiri te brewiri te sika kokko te gwete ti edin kokoroko te krotwe amansa ya saabo afo ade honam akokwa so opoku tenten korbe Sante Kotoko ania okura na akofran owani onyam sen bebe hene osei tutu akwagina mo a oje sika gwa kofisi ne sere so mamansan didi hu okomfu anoche papa sueni apama okura bosombomofo e kire be bonsam kire be kuku osei tutu biso okomfu anoche bisa osei tutu sikagwa kofi ase sikagwa kofi efi soro ton firi tete odoman koma bade nana osei prempe ajeman oforo fa yanhu osia wesi ahabayire bomu Sante Kotoko a wokoto kode odishiti sesan sikagwa kofiti mprensa na wense wongbiribi kuma nini ampon nananom obia besia ya esanto a ochichiro kwa ochichire no mmerimanim bonsia ogba hyen ene ne nkrofo osei tutu brempon hunyafo ka denchira dom gui de bi fida wo fiyase ma wo ma no mo ekodonto ma denchira bo adarwa wo kum ono ne aboya kese a se okeka no won opowase a na mo adoma nyina age yam ewo powase ono ne ne piesie ne manu na yaw sapon prekuma pipiripi poba ne sechi ene ne mensa na amankwa opam se yamam afrishapa
incredible mo ne kasa